Three of my students generated $7,950 in beat deals in one single week. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how. So if you don't have 10 minutes to put this into action for yourself and start making money from your beats without YouTube, without BeatStars, and without placements, then you can go the other way to another channel that has more exciting, fluffy videos. But if you do have the attention span, what I can promise is you'll leave this video with clarity on what you should be doing next and have some action steps you can put into place immediately. And before we hop in, if you're looking for the 3 highest converting offers that I've taught my students that make between $250 and $1,000 per individual beat sale, simply go over to my Instagram at Kobe Sample Source, DM me the word, type in offer, and I'll send you over a free course. Now let's hop into the video. So in this video, I want to point out the 3 main mistakes and what you can do to solve them. So the number one thing that I see most people do is that when producers approach having an Instagram or YouTube or wherever it is, they usually have a faceless brand. Whenever you get into branding, you're tempted to go and grab the nearest stock photo of an artist off of Google Images and go and apply that into your business. But the reason why you should put your face out there specifically is because when an artist is going through beats and they don't see a face associated with it, what they're going to start saying is these are really good beats, because a lot of producers have amazing beats out there, but they won't be saying that I want your beats specifically. And that's really the main thing that we want to do is have a personal brand instead. So what a personal brand looks like is several different things, but what I constitute it as is connecting your person with your production. And so what that means is we're going to start posting high quality professional content, but what you're going to do is one of a few things. You can make a reel. You can go and say in the beginning something like, here's how to make a Chris Brown type beat in 60 seconds. It's got your face in it. And then you go and switch to showing the DAW, showing the screen, showing the process of how the beat came together. And the reason why I like this is because if you don't do this and you just show the DAW, then they don't know what you look like. They don't know your personality, and they don't have that personal connection with you. So that's why I like doing it that way. And another way to do it is to do like POV, making a beat for Drake. So if you do that and you show yourself reacting to your beat, then basically it's going to have your personal brand and they get a sense of your character and who you are as a person. So I like to do it these 2 main ways, and that way you can start connecting your person with your production and start to get the most important element, which is trust and likability going, so that you can get beat sales much more easily. And moreover than that, you can raise your price by 3x to 10x without them batting an eye, because now they want to work with you specifically and not just a quote good producer. The second thing I fix when producers work with me in a coaching situation is going to be pricing. And so what most producers are going to be charging is something like $30 to $100 for licensing. And then when it comes to custom production, they're probably going to be doing something along the lines of $250 to $500. So it's like not bad, that's good money. And it just depends on how many you're able to sell to per month. Because when it comes to the level of business you're at, most producers are selling as if they're Walmart when they're actually just a mom and pop store. And what I mean by that is Walmart has millions of customers. Mom and pop stores may just have a dozen customers. So when you are only selling to 1 to 2 artists every single month, or 5 to 10 artists every single month, that is very, very low volume of sales. Versus you take someone like Cash Money AP, you take somebody like, I don't even know, Dilly Got It Bumpin'. Those are people who are going to be moving hundreds of beats every single month. So when you see a channel that's moving hundreds of beats every single month, these prices are designed to get sales without the artist thinking about how much it costs. So in that aspect, it's really good money because you're getting high volume. Now, what I fix when working with producers is we all know you're not getting a ton of sales. Why would you come to me to help with getting the amount of sales you want to if you're already getting enough? So typically when a producer comes to me, they're selling less than even 5 beats every single month. So what I do is I install a system where we can charge $1,000 plus. And so one of my students in a single week, he made $4,100 in deals. He had a $3,000 deal and then probably a couple of $500 deals. So that was our other offer. So, and count it that none of these are exclusive deals. These are non-exclusive offerings. So when you're selling something for $3,000 and $500 non-exclusively, and you only need 3 sales to do it, it's very, very easy to focus all of our attention on just acquiring clients instead of on trying to grow on social media and get numbers. So instead of focusing on getting traffic to a website, we focus on where are our clients, how do we find them or get them to come to us, and then how do we get into conversations to get them on calls. And we'll talk about that shortly. But you want to price your offer at $1,000 or more. So usually what you want to do is you want to have 2 different offers. You want to have your core offer, and then you want to have what's called a downsell. And so what that looks like is a downsell. I usually will sell anywhere between $100 to $500. And then for the core offer, what I'm going to sell that as is anywhere between $1K to $10K is the highest that I've ever had a student sell at. So when you're looking at this range, what happens is if they don't need this, then we just downsell to this. But we're always pretty much going to pitch the core offer if we are not sure what they need. So you may say, like, what is an offer? How do I sell something for $1,000 or more? And so really what you're going to do is you're going to get onto a call and talk to them about certain kinds of things. So what I like to do is do 2 different calls. On the first call, what I'm going to try to do is get them to like, know, and trust me. The way I do that is by asking about, like, well, what are their goals? What are they trying to hit? What's their rollout? What makes them feel successful as an artist? And then I also want to talk about maybe where they're feeling more stuck. And that's going to be more about, like, where are they at currently, right? So, and you're talking about where they at currently, that can be like if they have 2 songs released on Spotify, but they say they want to release an EP. Well, at this current rate, it's not going to happen. Or maybe they say they have 10 songs written, but they haven't released a single song this year. And you're like, well, we're in June. We're halfway through the year. What's keeping you from releasing music right now? So that would be an example of what to ask currently. And then as far as goals, you can say, like, well, as far as songs released, where are you trying to hit this year? Where are you trying to be as an artist ideally? So once you figured out where they're at, where they want to go, then basically in the middle section is going to be this gap. And that's what we're trying to create, is this massive gap between where they are and where they want to go. And once you've built a gap there, that's where you can insert your offer. What an offer looks like, it's not going to be bullet points. Like, a lot of people make bullet points and they say you get X, you get Y, and you get Z. And that's going to be the things, the pieces. Now, artists don't buy pieces, they buy payoff. So instead of saying you get a custom beat, you get 3 revisions, instead of doing something like that, instead, what I'm going to sell is the payoff. And so what I'm going to say, if you get a custom beat, the way that I make a custom beat is I make it from scratch, from the ground up, so that you never have to worry about X, Y, and Z. And that's going to be like, you never have to worry about finding samples from off the internet that are not cleared or something of that sort. And so whenever you do that, what happens is you're eliminating what they have fear over. What you're doing is you're strengthening where they actually want to go and giving them the benefits. So you don't sell features, you sell the benefits. And so when it comes into it, that's one way to do it, is to say, like, hey, most producers are doing samples that aren't cleared. I use something like TrackLib, and that way the samples are going to be cleared every time and you don't have to worry about it. So if you're using those as pillars and you're selling the benefits over here instead of selling the features over here, this is going to paint you in a light where you're selling the payoff, the solution. And that's what's going to get them to buy in and actually want to invest in your stuff, which is going to allow you to raise your prices. Because if you were to sell features, then now you're going to be stuck in the market that only pays $100 to $500. If you sell benefits, then you're in the premium value market. You're not a commodity anymore. And a commodity means the market is going to tell you how much it costs and how much you can sell it for. And when you're in a premium value market, it means that you can charge whatever you want because they're paying for the payoff. They're not paying for the pieces. And so hopefully that makes sense in terms of offers. Again, if you want to get the 3 highest converting offers that I have that have sold thousands of dollars each, simply go over to Instagram at Kobe Sample Source and go and DM me the word offer. I'll send you a free course right over. The third problem that I see with producers is that they have a systems problem. They don't know what system they should be running. And so what they're usually trying to do, they're trying to generate traffic and then send it to a site. That's like their whole goal is to send it to a site. So this is their marketing, is generating traffic, and then their sales is selling them on clicking, going to a site, and then they just check out. What I found is that 99% of producers sending artists to a site, you're going to have a 50% drop off. And really it's going to be a lot more than that, because even if they click, you're only going to get 2-4% maybe to even purchase something on the first go around. So you're going to have 90% of the people that even click on your site, they will never buy your beats. And so what I find is that if you're only getting a few thousand impressions or a few thousand traffic to your site every single month, you're not going to generate enough to actually sell enough beats to live off of. So even if you're selling 30 licenses at $30, you're going to make $900, which is amazing. That's passive income. That's going to be good to supplement your existing income, but you won't be able to quit your job off of that. And it's not enough passive income to actually put into an investment to generate more passive income. So you get stuck in this cycle of I'm making more money, but I have no control over increasing my income from that. And so you get stuck in that endless cycle. Instead, what I would encourage you to do is go and instead of optimizing for traffic and optimizing for trying to be famous or optimizing for growing your audience, what you need to optimize for is sales. And so over everything, what I want to optimize is for sales. So optimize for sales. That's going to be number one. So the way that I do this is I'm going to take the traffic that I get. So I either reach out to artists and find them, or they come to me through content, or I go and find them through ads. So whenever I have traffic, instead of sending them to a site, what I want to do with that traffic is start to DM them. I want to start messaging them. And so this is not going to be, hey, buy my beats. Hey, are you wanting to work with a producer? It's not going to be things that are trying to get buying signals. What I'm going to start messaging them is just chatting at a lower level to try to get them to respond to me, to start giving me some information. So once I've qualified them as somebody who might be an artist I want to work with, and they seem very responsive, what I want to move them to is a first call. So we're going to do the first call with them. And this is something that would be maybe anywhere from 10 to maybe 30 minutes, where you talk to the artist about what we talked about before, which is like, where are they at currently? What are their goals? What's holding them back? Where do they want to ideally be as an artist? Those sorts of things. And you start to ask deeper questions. And so on this first call, which I call a triage call, all you're trying to do is get them to like, know, and trust you. And you're like, well, what does that even mean? It means that they like, know, and trust you enough to be open to buying and enough to jump onto a second call where they raise their hand and say, I want to possibly purchase something. Most producers make the mistake of thinking that just because an artist likes their beats that they're interested in buying. And this couldn't be further from the truth, because there's two different buy-ins. There's the buy-in where they say they're interested in your beats, and then there's the buy-in where they buy in with their finances. And so those are two different things. And you have to realize, like, you can't just say, okay, if you're interested in my beats, you have to buy them, and here's the prices. That's not how people make decisions. They make them emotionally when it comes to buying. So what I do is after the first call, I get them on a second call. And so mind you, we haven't even brought up money or anything on this first call. So the first call has nothing to do with them buying things. It just has to do with them emotionally buying into the thought of working with you specifically. Once you get them to like, know, and trust you, and they're open to buying from you, they're open to opening up their wallet and handing you some cash inside of it, then what you want to do at the end of that call is say something like, hey, like I thought we had a great call. Like I was saying in DMs, like I think that I have some production that would be a perfect fit for you. I'm not sure if you're even open to that or not. But if you are, would love to do a preview session or vibe session, and we can hop on the next call and see if any of these would even be a good fit for you or not. And what that does is it puts the playbook in their hand, and they get to tell you where to go next. And so by letting them have their own autonomy, they're going to choose half the time to jump onto a second call and basically raise their hand and say, I'm ready to be sold to. The reason I love this is because they show up to this call ready to buy on the second call. And at the end of this call, you get cash. So that's what I love so much about this. And if you think that I'm bluffing it, I'll try to put up a couple of screenshots of calls that I've done that resulted in money. So one person, we did $250 every 2 weeks for $1,000 beat. So in the next few days, he'll be doing the fourth payment on that, but I've already collected $750 on it. Another artist, I charged $1,500 and she did it all up front. So this is a strategy that works. And it not only works, but it works really well. And one of my students got a $1,500 deal with this. They split it into 6 payments, really good cash for their business. And this was the first call that he'd ever done with an artist before. So when you're thinking of using a process like this, yeah, they're not just going to hand you money. Like, you need to have a process that's going to convert them. You can't just say random things in a 60-minute call and then they hand you money, right? So you have to learn some sales tactics and stuff like that. So, and I wasn't even planning on giving this away, but DM me sales on Instagram, again, at Kobe Sample Source. I'll send you over a course on that that's going to show you my rapid sales system that converts artists in as little as 4 days from stranger to sale. So it's going to show you the process there. So you're going to want to learn a sales method. I like mine, but you can use any and adopt it to selling music. But at the end of this call, what you should have is a few alternatives. They can either do what's called a PIF, which is pay in full. So they can either pay you in full, you can do a payment plan, you can set up the next call for when they can pay you, or one of my favorite ways to sell right now is to do the free trial method. So basically, instead of just jumping off the phone, if they say I'll pay you on Friday, then if it's Monday, then that's 4 days from Friday. You simply get their card info on file, and then it delays it for 4 days, and then it will start their payment plan and you'll start getting paid. And so you only have to sell it once. You don't have to go and bang down their door and say like, hey, you're supposed to pay me on Friday, because emotions can change, or, and they plan to honor their commitment, but then life changes, right? So if you're able to sell on that call and set up a free trial, then that way it's going to lock in really good cash for your business. So do it one of these 4 ways and you'll be good to go. So hopefully that explained what you should be focusing on. And I'll just go back really quickly. But if you have a faceless brand, start posting reels with your face in it that connect your person with your production. If you are pricing anywhere from 30 to 100 for leases and anywhere from 250 to 500 for exclusives and customs, then start pricing it differently. You need to start pricing it at 1,000 to 10,000 for customs and exclusive packages. And you need to start pricing your leases anywhere from $100 to $500 for packs. So redo that. And then thirdly, so that you can actually sell it, is you want to add in my rapid sales system, which is to go from finding artists or having them come to you, DM them, get them on a first call, and then get them on a second call. So if you get on that second call, don't let them off without making one of these 4 decisions. So hopefully you can tell that my heart is in it to help you as a producer to start leveling up in 2025 and borrow this system. I am just begging you to try it out, because this is exactly what I have used in the past. It's what I use right now to sell beats every single time. I will never sell a beat directly in DMs, and I will never sell a beat without getting onto a call and utilizing my sales skills in order to create really good revenue and cash for my beat selling business. Hopefully this video helped you in some way, shape, or form. If it did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and at minimum, just go over to Instagram, DM me offer at Kobe Sample Source, and I'll send you over a free course. And if you're ready to work one-on-one more privately with me and you want a free roadmap call just to make sure that my program's a good fit, I can go and listen to your beats, I can make sure that this is something even remotely interesting to you that would serve you, then make sure you go to the link in the description or the pinned comment, book the free roadmap call with me so that we can chat face to face and I can break down the main bottlenecks in your business so you can leave that call with a lot of clarity. I've seen people make thousands of dollars a month just from the free roadmap call, and you see what my students are doing for this week. So if you're interested in that, go to the link in the pinned comment description, book a free roadmap call with me, and I will see you in the next video.